If you're watching this, don't go looking for the channel. I made that mistake, and now I can't undo it. I know how this sounds. Some internet campfire story. Some creepypasta you scroll past at 3 a.m. But I swear to you, this isn't fiction. I wish to God it was. If you're the type who can't resist clicking on strange recommendations, if you think curiosity is harmless, then stop right here. Because that's exactly what I thought, and that's how it started. I wasn't doing anything special that night. Just me, slumped in bed with the glow of my laptop burning into my eyes, scrolling through YouTube's endless rabbit holes. You know how it goes. 1 minute you're watching a review of some horror movie. The next you're knee-deep in abandoned theme park explorations or top 10 unsolved internet mysteries. That's my poison. Always has been. I've wasted more nights than I can count just letting autoplay drag me into stranger and darker corners of the site. But this was different. This felt deliberate. It started with a thumbnail that didn't belong. No title, not really. Just a mess of symbols and corrupted characters. Like someone mashed their keyboard until it glitched into existence. The picture itself was worse. A black rectangle, except in the lower corner there was a faint shape. Not clear enough to make sense of, but familiar enough to itch at the back of my brain. Like the outline of a person standing too far away for details, yet close enough to feel like they were watching. Normally, I would have scrolled past. I've seen clickbait, I've seen fake cursed videos, I know how these things work. But there was something about this one. It was sitting in my recommended feed as if it had always been there, waiting. And maybe I was tired. Maybe I was just reckless. But my finger hovered over it like it was magnetic. I clicked. The first thing I noticed wasn't the content. It was the counter. YouTube always tells you how many people are watching. Likes, dislikes, views, it's all right there. But this channel had something I'd never seen before. A live counter that said, 1 viewer. Just one. Me. That should have been my first warning sign. Instead, I leaned closer, curiosity burning away the sensible part of me that wanted to close the tab. The video itself was nothing. Static. White noise like a broken TV from the 90s. The kind of sound that worms into your skull and makes the silence between heartbeats unbearable. I sat there, listening, watching, waiting for something, anything to happen. And then it did. For just a split second, the static cleared. The screen flickered, and behind the storm of noise I saw something. A room, I think. Dark, but not empty. A figure hunched in the corner, unmoving, like they were waiting for the camera to notice them. Then the static roared back, swallowing it whole. I should have clicked away. I should have shut the laptop, unplugged it, smashed it against the wall if I had to. But instead, I found myself refreshing the channel, searching for more videos. There weren't many, just a handful of uploads, all with titles made of corrupted symbols, all with that same black thumbnail. Each one had a viewer count of 1. Each one just me. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't some forgotten channel, some dusty relic buried under years of uploads. This was new, fresh, alive. The videos were appearing as I clicked them, like the channel knew I was there, like it was feeding off my attention. I wish I could tell you that's the worst part, that the mystery ended there. But it didn't, because one of the videos, God, I can't forget this, one of the videos already knew my name before I clicked play. And that's where everything started to go wrong. Most nights, my routine was embarrassingly predictable. I wasn't out with friends, I wasn't reading a book, I wasn't even doing anything remotely productive. My nights belonged to YouTube. That endless scroll of videos had become the background noise of my life, the way some people fall asleep to rain sounds or white noise. For me, it was video essays, retro game reviews, and the occasional horror compilation I swore wouldn't get under my skin. You know how it is, you tell yourself, just one more video, and suddenly the sun's peeking through your blinds. That was me night after night. I'd start with something harmless, like a 20-minute breakdown of why a movie sequel failed, and before long, I'd be 3 hours deep into a rabbit hole about haunted amusement parks in Japan or unsolved disappearances that just happened to be caught on grainy CCTV. The algorithm knew me too well, almost too well. My recommended feed felt like it had been designed by someone who'd been keeping notes on me for years. Pop culture nostalgia, check. Creepy urban legends, Check. Abandoned places I'd never visit in a million years. Check. Sometimes it felt like YouTube had cracked open my skull and scooped out my guilty pleasures, packaging them neatly into thumbnails and red progress bars. Not that I was complaining. There was something comforting in that routine. The glow of the screen, the voice of some stranger narrating internet mysteries, the way time just dissolved when I let autoplay take the wheel. Sure, I knew it was a waste. I knew I should probably be sleeping or working on something real. But at night, none of that mattered. The world outside went quiet, and I let myself sink into the glow of other people's stories. That was the normal part, the safe part. And then came the other side of it, the darker, stranger videos I couldn't resist. I don't mean gore or anything obvious. I mean the weird stuff. Videos that weren't quite polished, weren't quite right. Like a 10-second clip uploaded in 2007 of a man staring at the camera and smiling too long. Or a video essay with a robotic voice that slipped halfway through into a language I didn't recognize. Most people scroll past that kind of content. I leaned in. I liked the feeling of stumbling on something that felt forgotten, or forbidden, or both. I told myself it was just curiosity, that I was just another bored insomniac poking around in the dusty corners of the site. But sometimes I wondered, why did I enjoy it so much? Why did I feel a strange sense of connection, like those videos were waiting for me, specifically me, to find them? Dark humor kept me sane. I joke about it to myself. Wow, thanks YouTube. Clearly I needed a video titled 10 Cursed Commercials That Aired Once and Vanished. Or, recommended for me? Really? What algorithm looks at my search history and thinks, this guy needs more footage of Russian doll factories at 3 a.m. But underneath the jokes, there was something uneasy, because every now and then, I'd stumble on a video that felt different. Not just odd or obscure, wrong. It's hard to explain. A thumbnail can tell you more than you think. Most are designed to grab attention, but some are just static and blur, a nothing image that somehow screams don't click. And the worst part? Those were the ones I always clicked. I couldn't help myself. The algorithm dangled a hook, and I swallowed it whole every time. That night was no different. I was 3 hours into a spiral of abandoned mall explorations and grainy dashcam footage when I saw it. A thumbnail buried between top 10 creepiest animations and why this cartoon episode was banned. It wasn't like the others. No bright title card, no clever graphic. Just a black rectangle with a smudge of something in the corner. Like a shadow too faint to place. Shouldn't have stood out, but it did. It was like my eyes were pulled to it before I even realized what I was looking at. And that's when I felt it. That first twinge in my gut. The instinct that whispered, something's wrong here. I wish I'd listened. Because if I just scrolled past, if I just let autoplay move me along to another harmless list video or ghost story, none of this would have happened. But of course I didn't. Of course I clicked. And that was the moment everything shifted. From the safe comfort of my nightly routine into something I couldn't explain, couldn't escape. The line between ordinary boredom and real dread snapped in half, and I was too far gone to notice until it was already too late. The title of the video looked like it had been chewed up and spat out by some dying machine. Half English, half gibberish, with symbols scattered between letters that didn't belong. It wasn't even a full sentence. More like an error message, or the remains of something corrupted. And yet, when I saw it, I felt this awful sense of invitation. Like it was asking me to open it. I clicked. The screen went black for a moment, and I thought maybe it hadn't loaded. Then the sound hit. Static, thick and suffocating, the kind of white noise that crawls under your skin. My laptop speakers buzzed with it, filling the room in a way that made me glance over my shoulder, just to make sure the noise wasn't leaking into the hallway. First, the video was nothing. A dark room, grainy, like it had been recorded on some decade-old camera. The frame barely lit by what looked like a dying light bulb overhead. And there, in the middle of the frame, sat a person. Or at least a shape of one. Hunched forward, motionless. Too far away to make out details, too close to ignore. I sat back, exhaling through my nose. Great, I muttered. Another artsy creep channel trying too hard. I should have clicked away. But my finger hovered over the trackpad. There was something about the stillness, about the absolute lack of movement, that held me. I kept waiting for the cheap jump scare. A face lunging into the lens, a scream, the usual. But nothing happened. The figure didn't move. The static crackled, filling every second with tension. And I stared, waiting, wondering why I couldn't look away. And then it happened. Through the fuzz of white noise, the figure's head tilted, just barely, and a whisper slid through the static. At first, I didn't even recognize the word. My brain stumbled over it, rejected it. But then it hit me. It was my username. Clear. Direct. Spoken in a voice so soft it scraped against my ears. I froze. My body went rigid, my mouth dry. No, I whispered, shaking my head, trying to laugh it off. No, I misheard. I misheard that. I clicked the trackpad, rewound 5 seconds, and pressed play again. The static roared. The figure sat, unmoving. The noise pressed against my skull. And then, once again, clearer this time, my username. I slammed the spacebar, pausing the video so hard my laptop clicked. My pulse was a hammer in my throat. No, that's not. I laughed. A sharp, panic sound. It's just pareidolia, right? Like hearing your name in noise. That's all. But it wasn't. Go ahead. Think I imagined it. Think I'm exaggerating for dramatic effect. But you weren't there. You didn't hear the way the static bent around the word, the way the whisper fit too perfectly into the sound, like it had always been meant for me and only me. I pressed play again. My throat clenched, my eyes burned, but I had to know. The figure didn't move this time, didn't whisper, but something else did. The static shifted. It wasn't random anymore. It was rhythmic. Shapes flickered inside the snowstorm of pixels. There and gone so fast I thought I was hallucinating. But I recognized them. Corners. Shadows. Familiar edges. My room. For a heartbeat I saw it. My own desk. The outline of my lamp. Even the stupid pile of laundry I hadn't touched in a week. Buried in the noise. Flickering like a secret it wasn't supposed to show me. I shoved my chair back, my knees knocking the desk. My laptop wobbled, the screen warping into vertical lines before snapping back. When it cleared, the video was still going, static, darkness, the same figure hunched in the corner. I sat there, breathing through my teeth, fighting the urge to slam the lid shut. I couldn't tear my eyes away. My brain screamed at me to stop, but the other part, the hungry part, the same one that always clicked on the weird videos at 3 a.m., that part whispered, "Keep watching. See how far it goes." And that whisper won. I stayed. I let the static crawl deeper, let the room on screen flicker into pieces of my own, let the whisper of my username echo in my head until it was impossible to tell if I was hearing it from the speakers or from the dark corners of my room. Finally, after what felt like hours, the video ended. Just cut to black, no outro, no recommendations. Nothing. I sat there, staring at my reflection in the black screen. My face pale, my eyes wide, the sound of static still ringing in my ears like it had branded me. I should have left it there, closed the laptop, gone to sleep, but when I moved the trackpad again, the page refreshed itself, and there were more videos waiting. More titles in broken half-language. More thumbnails that shouldn't have stood out but did. More of that awful magnetic pull dragging me in. And if you think that first video was bad, if you think hearing my name whispered out of static was the worst it could get, trust me, that was only the beginning. The moment that first video ended, I told myself I was done. Curiosity satisfied. Enough was enough. I even laughed under my breath, a nervous little chuckle, like I just finished a carnival ride that shook me up more than I expected. Creepy, sure, but just a video, just noise, just coincidence. But when the page refreshed, there were more. Not dozens, just 3. 3 new uploads. Same broken titles, same corrupted characters. And here's the part that made my stomach flip. Each one had been uploaded seconds before I clicked the page. Not hours, not minutes. Seconds. Like the channel was keeping pace with me, creating content in real time. I should have slammed the laptop shut. I should have gone to bed, forgotten it all, pretended I dreamed the whole thing. But instead I clicked. The first video loaded with the same static hiss, the same suffocating hum. But this time, the shapes that flickered weren't random. My chest went cold when I recognized them. Streetlights, asphalt, the curve of a sidewalk I knew too well. It was my street. The camera, or whatever it was, panned slowly, like it was being carried by someone walking just a few steps behind me. I saw the mailbox at the corner, the trash bins lined up outside. My stomach clenched, because this wasn't archived footage, wasn't some old snapshot pulled from Google Street View. The trash bins were out front because I'd taken them out that very night. I paused the video, pressed my palm to my mouth, trying not to gag. My own street, filmed minutes ago, uploaded just for me. I didn't click away. I don't know why. The second video hit harder. This one was indoors. Rows of desks, humming computers, the squeak of office chairs. My workplace, the shitty cubicles I'd sat in every weekday for the past 3 years, caught on grainy camera like I was watching security footage. My chair was in the frame, empty, but my jacket was slung over the back. The same jacket I'd left there earlier that afternoon. I whispered, "No, no, no, no." I rewound, fast-forwarded, trying to find a trick, a flaw, something that explained it. But the video just kept looping, my cubicle frozen in place, as if waiting for me to sit down. By the time I clicked the third, my hands were shaking so bad I could barely steady the cursor. At first, I didn't understand what I was seeing. The colors were off, the resolution terrible, like an ancient VHS recording played one too many times. But then it hit me. The living room, the old couch, the crooked wallpaper, and the boy running across the frame, laughing, blurred, alive. It was me, a home video, one I remembered vaguely from when I was 7 or 8. Except here's the thing, my family never digitized those tapes. Hell, I wasn't even sure we still had them. And yet here it was, uploaded in real time, waiting for me. I slammed the laptop shut so hard the sound echoed in my apartment. My breath came ragged, fast, like I just sprinted across town. I pressed my palms to my eyes until stars burst behind my eyelids. Coincidence? Hackers? Old files? Something. Anything but what it looked like. Finally, desperate for reassurance, I did the only thing I could think of. I called my friend Ryan. When he picked up, I didn't bother with pleasantries. "You need to see this. I found a channel. It's uploading. It's uploading my life, man." Ryan laughed. "You've been watching too many ARGs. Send me the link." I opened the laptop again, my stomach twisting, and copied the URL. "Okay, check it now. Look at the last 3 videos." There was a pause on the line, then Ryan snorted. "Dude, there's nothing here. Channel's empty. 0 videos." I blinked. No, you're not looking at the right one. Refresh it." I did. "Bro, are you high? This is literally a blank channel." I stared at my screen. The videos were right there. My street, my cubicle, my childhood, staring back at me, taunting. "No," I whispered. "They're there. I can see them." Ryan chuckled again. "All right, Truman. Maybe the algorithm finally built you your own reality show. World's most boring live stream." I tried to laugh, but the sound died in my throat. "You don't get it," I said. "It's only for me." Silence stretched on the line, heavy. Then Ryan sighed. "Look, man, get some sleep. Seriously. Call me tomorrow when you've stopped freaking yourself out." The call clicked dead. I stared at the empty call screen, my pulse thundering. "Only for me." The words echoed in my skull, loud, undeniable. I tried to close the browser. My hand trembled on the mouse, but I forced it anyway, clicking the red X with a sense of finality. The tab disappeared. Relief swept through me, short-lived, but real, until the window blinked back open. The channel reloaded itself. New videos waiting. The view counter at the bottom steady at 1. Me. Always me. And in that moment, I realized the truth. This wasn't random. This wasn't some hacker messing around. It was curated. Like someone or something was building a library of me. My past, my present, my future, all lined up for an audience of one. And God help me, I kept watching. Up until that point, the channel had been empty in every sense that mattered. No likes, no dislikes, no subscribers, no comments. Just me, the lone viewer, watching a feed of my own life unraveling in distorted fragments. But then there it was. I almost missed it. A single line of text beneath one of the videos. Small, plain, buried in the familiar white space of YouTube's comment section. Don't watch the next one. That's all it said. No username, no timestamp. Just those words, sharp as a knife, wedged between the static of silence. I blinked, leaned closer to the screen. My chest tightened. Finally, I whispered, "Someone else sees this." The relief was instant and overwhelming. Proof I wasn't insane. Proof that this channel wasn't a hallucination stitched together by a fried brain and too many sleepless nights. Someone else had been here. Someone else had left a warning. But then I refreshed the page. The comment was gone. Vanished. Like it had never been there at all. I sat frozen, hand trembling on the mouse, staring at the empty space where it had been. I refreshed again. And again. Nothing. Clean slate. That should have been it, right? The big red flag. A lifeline thrown straight into my hands, yanked away before I could grab it. That should have been enough to make me close the laptop, unplug it, hurl it into the trash if I had to. But it wasn't. I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there, shaking your head, muttering at the screen. Why didn't you stop? Why didn't you listen? And trust me, I've asked myself the same question 1,000 times since then. But here's the truth. I couldn't. That's how they get you. That single comment, whether it was real or not, had hooked me deeper than anything else could. Because suddenly it wasn't just about the channel watching me. It was about someone else who knew. Someone else who had been here before. Someone who'd seen what I was seeing, and left a breadcrumb for the next poor idiot to follow. And I needed to know what they'd meant. I told myself it was curiosity, that I was just chasing answers. But in reality, it was already too late. The trap had been sprung. That night, when I finally dragged myself away from the laptop, I couldn't sleep. Not really. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw thumbnails flashing in the dark. Black rectangles with shadows crouched in the corners. My mind replayed the words over and over again. Don't watch the next one. And of course, that only made me want to. I dreamed of scrolling endlessly, each refresh birthing a new video, each thumbnail warping closer to something I recognized. The faces of strangers twisted into people I knew. My street melting into my childhood bedroom. A blurred figure always waiting in the corner. And somewhere beneath it all, static hissed like a living thing. When I woke, drenched in sweat, the first thing I did was open my laptop. The channel was still there, still alive, still waiting, and still I was alone. That was the worst part. No matter how many times I sent Ryan the link, no matter how much I tried to explain, nobody else could see it. To them, it was a blank page, a dead end. The comments section was empty, scrubbed clean. Only I could see the warning. Only I could carry it. That kind of isolation does something to you. It eats at you, makes you second-guess every sound, every flicker of light in the corner of your vision. I started keeping the curtains closed, convinced that if the videos could show my street once, they could show more. I unplugged my webcam, taped over my phone's camera, left my TV facing the wall. It didn't help. The channel pulled me back anyway. Every night, I found myself clicking, refreshing, searching for that comment again, hoping it would reappear, hoping for proof I wasn't the only one trapped in this endless loop. It never came back, but the videos kept coming, one after another, each one more personal, more invasive, like the channel was peeling back layers of my life just to see what was underneath. And I watched. God help me, I watched. Because if I stopped, I knew I'd never learn what the next one was. And if I kept going, well, you'll see. It was past midnight when I saw it. I hadn't meant to refresh the channel again, but by then it was instinct. Like biting at a cut inside your mouth, you don't want to, but you can't stop. My laptop whirred, the page blinked, and there it was, a new upload. Except it wasn't an upload. The thumbnail looked different, sharper, A bright red rectangle with jagged letters across it, distorted but legible enough to make my stomach twist. My name. Are you watching? I felt every hair on my arms stand up. For a long moment I just sat there, cursor hovering over the screen, telling myself not to click. I whispered it out loud like a prayer. Don't. Just don't. And then I clicked. The player opened to a live stream. Not a video, not a recording, but a live feed. The view count in the corner confirmed it. 1 viewer. Me. The camera angle was impossible. Up high, tilted down like a surveillance shot, but the room was unmistakable. My room. The desk. The lamp. The heap of laundry. Even the crooked poster on the wall I kept forgetting to fix. All of it there on the screen. A perfect mirror of the place I sat. Except in the feed there was no me. Just my empty chair waiting. My throat closed. I shoved the chair back, glancing around frantically, searching for a hidden camera. The corners of my ceiling, the edges of the window. Nothing. The stream angle wasn't possible. It looked down from above, but my ceiling had no corners where a device could hide. No vents, no shelves, nothing. I leaned back toward the screen, heart pounding, and that's when I heard it. A voice. Low, distorted, but carrying the shape of words I recognized. Remember when you said you couldn't sleep? I jolted. The voice wasn't just random noise, it was quoting me. My voice. Something I'd said months ago in a Discord chat, complaining to Ryan about insomnia. Static hissed. Then the voice returned. You said, "It feels like something's watching me." I clutched the desk, nails digging into the wood. My own words. My own phrasing, stilted and half-whispered back at me, as if the stream had been listening all along. I tried to close the window. I clicked the X, slammed the keys, but the stream stayed open. My cursor froze, lagging across the screen. And then the chat lit up. One name appeared, then another, then another. The scrolling column filled with usernames I knew. My old classmates, my grandmother, people I hadn't spoken to in years, people who were dead. Each name carried a short message. Fragments. Nonsense. My grandmother's name appeared with the word cold. An old friend's username scrolled by with "behind you." I gasped, spinning in my chair, staring into the shadows of my room. Nothing. Just empty corners and the hum of the computer. But when I looked back, the chat kept moving, line after line. And then the voice returned. You said, "I think the channel is only for me." My own confession, repeated in that warped, guttural tone. Stop it, I shouted, slamming the desk so hard the lamp rattled. Stop copying me. The feed glitched, static splitting the screen into jagged slices. For a heartbeat, I thought I saw movement in my empty chair. A blur, a shadow seated where I should have been. Then it snapped back to normal, leaving me staring at the vacant outline of my own life. I scrambled for the power button, holding it down until the laptop went black. Silence swept through the room, thick and oppressive. And then darkness. My apartment lights cut out all at once. The hum of the fridge in the kitchen silenced. The glow of the street lamp outside vanished. A full, suffocating blackout. I sat in the dark, heart hammering, sweat running down my neck. The only sound was my own ragged breathing. Then, impossibly, my laptop screen flickered back to life. No power, no charging cable. But there it was, glowing in the blackness, the stream still running. The chat scrolled faster now, names I couldn't keep up with, messages piling over one another like desperate hands clawing at a door. And the voice whispered again. You said, "You'd never stop watching." That broke me. I leapt from the chair, stumbling over the laundry heap, my shins smacking the corner of the bed frame. Pain lanced through me, but I didn't stop. I grabbed my keys from the table, yanked open the door, and bolted into the night. The blackout stretched across the street, every window dark, every house silent. But behind me, through the open doorway, I saw the faint glow of the laptop screen. Still alive, still streaming, still showing my empty room from an angle that didn't exist. I ran. I didn't stop running until my lungs felt like fire. My legs carried me blindly through the streets, sneakers slapping against wet asphalt, breath tearing ragged from my chest. I didn't have a destination. I just needed distance. Distance from the apartment, from the laptop, from the glow that refused to die. Finally, bent double in the shadow of a bus stop, I fumbled for my phone. My hands shook so badly I nearly dropped it twice before the screen lit up. I didn't even think. I just pulled up the channel. It loaded instantly, as if it had been waiting. The live stream was still there, humming with static, showing my empty room like some cruel reminder. But the view count had changed. Not 1, 2. My pulse stuttered. My throat went dry. For a long moment I just stared, too terrified to refresh, too terrified not to. I tapped the chat window with trembling fingers, praying it was a glitch, some error, anything but what it looked like. And then I saw it. The second viewer's name. Not quite my username, but close. Twisted. Letters inverted. Symbols shoved between syllables. Like a mirror had reflected me wrong. Redacted. A glitchy, mangled version of myself, staring back through the screen. No, I whispered. No, no, no. The chat blinked. A message appeared. Just one. Hello. My heart slammed against my ribs. I typed without thinking. My fingers a blur. Who are you? The reply came instantly. You. I dropped the phone. It clattered against the pavement. The glow of the stream still shining up at me. The distorted camera angle still pointed at my empty room. The mangled username still sitting beside mine in the viewer list. Patient. Unshakable. And then the voice came back. Not from the phone, not from around me, inside my head, or maybe inside the night itself. It was laughter. My laughter. Warped. Distorted. Looping back at me like a recording played through broken speakers. Stop it! I screamed, clutching my ears. That's not me. That's not me. But deep down, I wasn't sure anymore. Because what if it was? What if I had already been uploaded, recorded without recording, broadcast without consent? What if every moment I'd lived up to now was just pre-roll for the stream, and I was both the watcher and the watched? My phone buzzed against the pavement. Another chat message. I didn't want to look, but my eyes dragged down anyway. Already here. The words pulsed, sharp and final. My distorted twin. My second viewer. My shadow self locked inside the feed. I staggered back from the glow, chest heaving, the sickening realization crashing down. I hadn't escaped the channel. I'd never escape it, because I was part of it now. And if that's true, if my life was already archived, already uploaded for an audience I couldn't see, then this isn't a warning. It's a recording. And you're watching. If you've made it this far, then it's too late for you. I didn't want to admit that at first. I wanted to pretend this was still just my problem, my curse, my punishment for clicking on something I never should have touched. But the truth is uglier than that. These words you're hearing right now, this story I've been unraveling, this is another video, another upload, another piece of the feed. And by listening, you've subscribed without consent. Don't believe me? That's fine. I didn't believe it either when the thought first crept in, when I realized the channel didn't need me to press record. It didn't need my webcam or my microphone or even my permission. The channel just takes. It takes moments, thoughts, confessions, and turns them into content. And now it's taken this. That should terrify you more than anything else I've said. Because it means the line between viewer and video doesn't exist anymore. You came here expecting a story, but the moment you clicked, you became part of it. The channel doesn't just watch, it grows. And every set of eyes that lingers on it becomes another brick in the foundation. You think you're safe because I'm the one speaking, because you're just the audience. But that's the same lie I told myself back when I thought I was the only viewer. Back when the counter said 1. It doesn't say that anymore. I know what you're doing right now. You're glancing down at the progress bar, seeing how much of this is left. You're debating whether to finish. You're telling yourself it's just fiction, just a story. But the channel loves that. It feeds on that. It waits for the moment you convince yourself you're safe, because that's when you let your guard down. That's when it moves in. You want proof? Fine. After this ends, check your recommended tab. Scroll just a little. If you see my face staring back at you, don't click. If you see a black thumbnail with no title, don't click. If you see a live stream with your name on it, begging you to open it, don't. Of course, you won't listen. Nobody does. I didn't. And that's why I'm here, speaking these words into a void that never ends. Do you know what it's like to realize you're no longer a person, but content? To feel yourself flatten into a series of frames, your voice compressed into static, your life reduced to corrupted thumbnails? It's worse than death, worse than madness. It's endless, because content doesn't die. It just loops. That's what I am now. A loop, a whisper buried in static. A face that flickers for a second before the screen goes black. A warning that will never be heeded. And soon that's what you'll be too. You think you can stop it. That's what I thought. I tried everything, smashing the laptop, cutting the power, moving apartments. None of it mattered. The feed followed. It always finds the screen. Doesn't matter if it's a phone, a tablet, a stranger's computer in a cafe. Once the channel has you, it doesn't let go. It doesn't need devices. It doesn't even need the internet. It just needs an audience. And right now, that's you. I can already feel it crawling toward you, bleeding from my voice into your room. Don't bother checking. You won't see it. Not yet. But when the glow hits your eyes again, you'll know. When the static hums in your ears at night, you'll know. The worst part is the laughter. That's what finally broke me. Not the whispers, not the footage, not even seeing my childhood videos reappear like ghosts. No, it was the laughter. The sound of my own voice, twisted, warped, spat back at me like a reflection in shattered glass. You'll hear it too. That's how you'll know you've been claimed. And once it starts, you'll do what I did. You'll try to warn someone. You'll send the link. You'll beg them to look. And they'll tell you it's empty. A blank page. Because that's the final cruelty. The channel only exists for you. You can scream, you can share, you can beg, but nobody else will ever see it. Your prison is solitary. Your stage is empty. Your audience is only yourself. Unless someone clicks. Unless someone listens. Unless you drag another soul into it just like I've dragged you. That's the cycle. That's the trap. That's why the view counter never really stops. You don't believe me, do you? That's fine. Pretend it's just entertainment. Pretend you'll turn this off and forget. But when you see me again, when you see that black thumbnail lurking in your feed, you'll remember. And you'll click. Everyone clicks. And when you do, the counter will change again. Because it's not 1 anymore. Not 2. Not even us. It's 3. The stream says there are 3 viewers now. And one of them is you.